Yo, what's good everyone, welcome to the video. Now last night YEAT dropped his album 2093 and it was crazy. And I'm guessing the reason you guys are here is because you thought it was fire as well when you want to learn how to make these kind of beats. So I'm going to show you guys how. To begin, we are in 131 BPM playing in A sharp minor. Now before I get into breaking this down bit by bit, I'm going to be showing you guys the whole melody playing together. So to begin, firstly I grabbed this bass from Flow Motion by Waves. It's a relatively cheap plugin and it's hella underrated, so if you guys don't have it, like, get it, it's fire. So yeah, I got this bass and I played down these notes. So yeah, very simple, just A sharp, D sharp, F sharp. Then next up I layered that with another bass, this one from Element, which is also a Waves plugin. Waves just has some like pretty underrated plugins, so I'd definitely check them out. And both those basses together sound like this. So yeah, nothing crazy on that. The next sound up that I laid down is a lead from Flow Motion, and it's going to be playing this pattern. Now for the effects on that lead, I put down a simple shaper box where it literally just pans the sound from left to right in your ears. Then I added this reverb here, this EQ, and then just a low cut and take out a bit of the highs. What I also did though is I routed the sound to this next channel where I added a delay with the wet completely turned up and the dry completely down, so it's only playing the delay with these settings. Then I put this thermal setting on it to make it really distorted, and put this EQ down just so it gets like the high, gritty, distorted part of the sound. So without the delay it sounded like this. And then with the delay it sounded like this. So it's not much of like a crazy difference, but it just adds that little bit of distortion that's like everywhere in the new album. So the next sound up, I've got some keys from Flow Motion again. I pretty much use it throughout the whole video and it's really good for like these weird sounds. And I lay down this pattern. Now as you can see in the pattern, I've put notes right next to each other, literally one semitone up or down. That just gives like the really dark, almost scary kind of vibe, so it's here as well. Yeah. Now as for effects on this, I put down a stereo shaper just to make the sound really wide. I added this saturator, which is just some like distortion and adds like a bit of white noise over it. And then this EQ cutting out the lows and a tiny bit of highs. Next up I put down some animated keys which just follow the root notes of the melody, and it's going to sound like this. Now for the effects on this, I did the same thing with the shaper box, pans left to right and turn the mix down a little bit. Put a lot of reverb on this and this EQ, and all it really is kind of just like a bit of ambience just to fill some gaps in the melody. Next up, another lead. This one we have this pattern. Effects wise, again I put a saturator on just for that distortion and that fuzzy sound. Then I put down an effectrix with this tape stop, it's on a really slow speed, and that sounds like this. So without it, it sounded like this. Added a little EQ just to boost the high ends up a little bit, and EQ to cut out the lows and highs. Oh, and for the last sound, it's actually from Diva, not from Flow Motion. And it is just playing this preset from Dream Synth, and this is what it sounds like. For effects on this, we've added a chorus, hefty amount of reverb again, and just a low cut. So now onto the drums. All together they sounded like this. Just kept it simple but effective. Now first I started by putting down this 808. Next up we got this snare. And I just put a bit of reverb on this snare, so with that way it sounded like this. Next up we added this hi-hat pattern, again nothing special, just pretty simple. Then on top of that I added this open hat. Then I put down this kick pattern. Then what I did here is I sidechained the kick to the 808, which just looks like this. So whenever the kick hits, it kind of turns down the 808 a little bit so it doesn't clash. And if you want a visualization, I got one here. Finally, I put the snare down. Just adds a little bounce. Now here we have the whole beat in all of its might and glory. And I'll quickly just break down all the arrangement for you. So here for the first 16 bars, we have kind of like the intro section. And I noticed in a lot of the songs in 2093, they're quite progressive and are constantly, like the songs are evolving. So it's taking sounds out, putting new sounds in all the time just to keep like your ears fresh throughout the whole thing. So that's what I've done for my intro. For the first 4 bars of the intro, I don't have the keys in. And then after the first 8 bars, I introduced one of the leads in. I also EQ'd all of the low end back into the bass, so the bass is present and then it EQs out when the 808's playing. And then I also added a noise loop for the first 8 bars, which is kind of just like some, I don't even know what you call it, like white noise or static. And then for the second 8 bars of the intro, I've got a percussion loop, which I slowed down and pitched down just to sound real like weird and ambient. So now I'm going to play all the intro for you and the drop, and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, ready for the arrangement, just do whatever sounds good to you. I guess the same with the rest of the tutorial. I'm not saying make a beat exactly like this, but this is how I've gone about doing it for the tutorial. Don't just copy it, you know, you gotta put your own creative aspects in there. If you made it this far and you did enjoy or learn something, make sure you hit like and subscribe, or follow me on Instagram at prodhayd. It means a lot. Now just to finish up, I'm gonna play the beat with one of YEAT's acapellas from the album on it and see how it sounds. Here we go, got the acapella. Just line this up. Oh, try this.
Fly around the world, never to the game. Push to a frame, I ain't gon' change. Tell me what else, tell me, it's easier to scream. I sing straight to hell.
Fire. Alright, that's all from me. I'll see you guys soon.